You brush your teeth. You turn off the lights. You slide under the covers. But before sleep fully takes you, you feel a faint hunger. Your hand reaches for the small bag of almonds on the nightstand. Or maybe it is a banana, a spoonful of Greek yogurt, something small, something healthy. Surely that cannot do any harm. But the real answer is far stranger. What happens next inside your body is not what you think. That tiny, virtuous snack triggers a chain reaction your brain never evolved to handle. Your ancestors did not have nightstands. They did not stash almonds by the bed. For almost all of human history, sleep meant an empty stomach. This was not a choice. It was the natural rhythm of feast and famine. Your body, your brain, came to rely on that nightly fast. It built a whole protection system around it. During the day, your brain runs on glucose. Glucose is the sugar floating in your blood. It comes from the food you eat. But after a few hours without food, something shifts. Your liver begins to break down fat. It turns that fat into tiny fuel molecules called ketones. Ketones are a clean, high efficiency energy source. Your brain starts to soak them up. This switch to ketones is ancient. Your ancestors' brains relied on it every night. Why would nature wire this into you? Because a brain running on ketones is a brain under repair. A neuroscientist named Mark Mattson studied what happens during fasting. He found that a fasted brain activates a kind of cellular housekeeping. This process, called autophagy, clears out damaged cell parts. It is like a nightly maintenance crew for your neurons. Another researcher, Stephen Ketones, focused on the aging brain. He discovered that ketones can bypass a glitch in older brains. As you age, your brain cells struggle to use glucose efficiently. This is sometimes called brain insulin resistance, but ketones slip right in, providing energy when glucose cannot. That makes ketones profoundly neuroprotective. They also dampen inflammation. Inflammation is a slow fire that damages brain tissue over decades. So every night, as you slept, your body would produce these protective ketones. It was a built-in defense against brain aging. The system worked night after night for tens of thousands of years. Then you ate the almonds, or the banana, or the spoonful of yogurt. Within minutes, your body does something very specific. It releases insulin. Insulin is the hormone that tells your cells to soak up sugar from your blood. But insulin has another job. It slams the brakes on ketone production. Your liver senses even a tiny rise in insulin. Instantly, it stops burning fat. Instantly, it stops making ketones. Your brain's nighttime fuel supply gets cut off. And what did that snack really give you? Maybe 100 calories, a few grams of carbohydrate or protein. But the cost was far greater than any calorie count. A study published in the journal Metabolism showed just how sensitive this system is. Researchers gave healthy people a tiny meal before sleep. Ketone levels dropped sharply within half an hour. They stayed suppressed for most of the night. Your body spends those precious sleeping hours running on glucose again, not on ketones. The brain does not get its repair signal. The cellular housekeeping does not kick in at full force. Why would your body be so ruthless? Because insulin is a master switch. It decides whether you burn fat or store it. When insulin is present, even a little, your body assumes food is coming in. It believes the famine is over. It stashes the fat away for later. This was a brilliant survival mechanism. In a world where food was scarce, you needed to store every ounce. But you do not live in that world anymore. Think about the narrative you have heard. Eat a small, healthy snack to stay satiated. Keep your metabolism steady. A handful of nuts is good for your brain. Nutrition labels praise almonds as brain food. And yes, during the day, nuts are excellent. But at night, that same food flips a switch against you. It blocks the very state that protects your brain the most. This is the hidden cost, the unintended consequence. You are not bad for eating that snack. You were told it was smart. But your body's ancient wiring says otherwise. Think about your own mind, your memory, your focus, your clarity. You want to keep them sharp as you age. The thought of losing that sharpness is deeply unsettling. It is one of the quiet fears that sits in the back of your mind. Alzheimer's, dementia, brain fog. These are diseases of slow accumulation. They do not happen overnight. They build over years, even decades. And one of the factors that may accelerate them is your brain losing its nightly cleanup. Scientists now call dementia type 3 diabetes because the brain becomes resistant to insulin. It cannot use glucose well. But ketones can bypass that resistance. If you are constantly blocking ketones with small snacks, you are starving your brain of that backup fuel. There is a researcher named Dale Bredesen who studies Alzheimer's. He found that many early Alzheimer's brains are starved for energy. Ketone therapy is now being used in clinical trials, but you do not need a prescription. Your own liver produces ketones for free every single night, unless you shut it down with a small bite of food. Picture your ancestor thousands of years ago. She finishes her evening meal at sunset. There is no refrigerator, no pantry light. She sleeps, and her body does what it always does. It cleans her brain while she rests. Now picture you. Your pantry is full. Your willpower is tired. You feel that tiny gnaw of hunger. You eat something. Innocent, small, even labeled superfood. In that moment, you are unwittingly disconnecting from an ancient silent protection. Hunger at night is not an emergency. It is a signal your body was designed to receive. A signal that tells your liver, time to make ketones, time to clean the brain. By answering that signal with food, you erase it. Look at the bedside tables of the world. Energy bars, nuts, dried fruit, protein shakes, marketed as healthy snacking. Your evening ritual may even include a calming cup of chamomile tea with honey. Honey raises insulin. That healthy late night oatmeal bowl does the same. Even a small apple can do it. The size does not matter. The presence of any digestible food does. Your liver is not counting calories. It is sensing insulin. You have been taught to fear hunger, but maybe you should fear the absence of hunger more. Your ancestors' brain depended on that nightly fast. It was not a flaw. It was a feature. And you have unknowingly been disabling it. What might your brain look like in 10 years if you never let it rest? What invisible damage accumulates, quiet and unseen? These are questions worth sitting with. But now you know the hidden cost. That knowledge changes everything. It does not mean you can never eat at night. It means you can make an informed choice. You can choose to let hunger sit for a few hours before bed. You can choose to give your brain one full night of ketones. Even one night of deep cleaning. You can choose to return to an ancient rhythm. So tonight, when you slide under the covers and you feel that faint hunger, know that it is not an enemy. It is an invitation. Your brain is asking for its nightly repair. Your hand does not need to reach for the almonds. It can simply rest, and your brain will do what it has done for millennia, protect itself. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel. A new story every week.